Hello, everybody, and welcome on in to another edition of Ott The Record, and a very different look, quite frankly, here for this episode of the show. Yes, we are now on video as we partner with our friends at the Gem City Sports Podcast Network presented by Rebich Investments. You can tune in live on all of their social channels and ours all season long as we debut Season 4 of Ott The Record, the official podcast of the Erie Otters. Today, we have Otters social media manager and color commentator Tim Quinn on the show as we talk all about the home opener, Tim's new role with the Otters, how he got into broadcasting, and some of his favorite spots around Erie. Take a look. Alongside me here today, we've got my broadcast partner here, the one and only Tim Quinn. Tim, thanks for joining us.
Dude, I'm so excited. What a jump, huh? Going audio to video. Is this going to be season 4 of Ott The Record? And I'm so excited, man. This is a big upgrade, so I'm super pumped.
100%. It's a unique offering, obviously. I mean, full transparency on how the show was done in the past. We would set up my board, a couple of headsets in our conference room back at the office, and just chat for a little while. So it's a little bit of a different vibe here and a really sweet setup. And now, again, bringing everybody to you visually and doing this alongside our friends at the Gem City Sports Podcast Network is going to be a joy. And again, hopefully bringing a whole new audience to the show. So, Tim, let's get right into it. Let's talk a little bit about yourself and what brought you to this point, because it's a really unique story. It's a story of athlete to the booth to a guy who we bring in as an intern. And here you are as the man behind the magic on Otter social media. So let's start with your baseball career.
Yeah,
Tell me about that and, how maybe that led you a bit to broadcasting.
Yeah, played baseball all my life. Played hockey when I was younger as well, and just kind of had to make that decision of hockey or baseball. You got to basically choose one once you get to 13 or 14 years old. And for me, I chose baseball. My dad played a little bit in college, and I thought I was probably better at it since I was a brutal skater, as I'm sure people can tell from my social media. But no, I played baseball all my life, really, competitively traveling around every summer and playing high school baseball. Got to go and win a world championship down in Texas, which was really, really exciting. That was just before my freshman year at Mercyhurst, where I went and played just for 2 seasons, because then I blew out my shoulder, and then during rehab I blew it out again. And so that was a sucky part of it. So couldn't play anymore, but that's what then led me to kind of where I'm at now, where I kind of picked up more of the broadcast stuff, picked up a lot more social media stuff, and started to really take pride in what I was doing. And my senior year of college, getting to intern with the Otters just for the second half of the season, really, just about 13 or 14 games, something like that. And it's all about timing, right? Life's all about timing, and I got really, really lucky with the timing here, and was able to land myself the admin position. So
Tim also cannot throw baseball more than 15 feet now. Yeah. So when we were filming the video of Pete and I playing catch, we initially talked about Tim and I doing it, but unfortunately Tim's shoulder would not allow for such activity.
Yeah, no, Tim's got a bum shoulder. Tim can barely throw a football during the fall here. It is brutal.
He can talk into a microphone, but cannot throw a football.
No, can't. That's why I just play hockey now. That's why I love going out there, skating, trying to get better at it, and kind of enjoying being on the ice, because it doesn't involve my shoulder at all.
Talk to me, though, about, getting into broadcasting, right? Yeah. You, obviously, as an athlete, you embrace the grind of all of that, and I know that was a big thing for me. Going into college and saying, you know what, this is what I want to do to still be around sports. Talk to me about that aspect of it and how, that can kind of foster your love for being in the booth.
Yeah, man, yeah. The college baseball, college sports is a grind. It is brutal on the body and everything, and brutal on your mind is something I really didn't expect to go into it. But it was cool once I ended that kind of chapter to kind of branch off and utilize the competitiveness that I have in that drive in just a different way. It's still around sports. You still get to talk about sports all the time, but now you get to push that grind from in the locker room and in the cages, hitting every day. Now I get to go and and make social content and walk around with a camera and film these other guys that are going through the same sort of a grind. And so it's been really interesting these last couple of years to just feel that shift out and be able to stay competitive just in a completely different light. I'm not I used to be a super mental baseball player, so I would have to psych myself out before a game and like really fire myself up. It's not like that anymore, really. I just kind of go around, and the competitiveness is more like, I want this content to be the best. I want to make these guys superstars. I want to make them really well known, and I want people to be able to see who they are. And so that's where I've kind of shifted the competitiveness and the drive from my playing days, which has worked really, really well. And I've also picked up golf, so that's also helped with the competitiveness of my day to day.
Yeah, absolutely. Picking up a couple of different sports and all of that. Talk to me about your role at Mercyhurst and, how that role allowed you to grow as a broadcaster, as somebody with your own brand and your social media and bringing that here to the Otters.
Yeah, I was really lucky at Mercyhurst. I came into a good position my freshman year where the broadcaster ahead of me was Jack Angelucci. He was excellent, had done it there for 4 years and was the guy. He was a senior. And so my freshman year, after baseball practice one day, our coach just asked, hey, we need somebody to do color commentary for the football game this Saturday. Who wants to do it? And I was like, yeah, no, that's what I want to do. I will do that happily. And so I did that first game with Jack, and he was an absolute treasure. Like he led me through it really, really well. And I go back and listen to it, and it was a horrible broadcasted game from me. I'm just sitting there making sound effects and stuff, but it was a great introduction, and he really fostered me into it. Showed me the ropes throughout the entire year. I did a lot of public address, and then shifted my sophomore year into more of a full-time play-by-play role. But again, sophomore year, I still played baseball, so it was a little bit less in the spring and a little bit less really overall because of the practice schedule. And it wasn't until junior year where I was able to really, go at it because I was injured. And that's when I really had called my career quits on the field. And so it gave me all that extra time to go after everything in the broadcast booth. And then I was like, man, how do I continue to upgrade this? And that's social media. So I just started to post videos of myself doing public address. I started to post videos of myself doing play-by-play, and then it grew to where I'm doing videos with the players on the field and launching LT Media, having my own media company where I can go in and just do really whatever I want and kind of make it a very fun, free style video where I'm trying these different sports and I'm trying these different things and just having a blast doing it. So came into a really good position and was able to kind of just feel it out and grow, and was really thrown into some incredible opportunities at Mercyhurst. I was the host of the press conference when we went Division I, which was an incredible opportunity. And so got to do some really, really cool things. I enjoyed every second of it. And I'm really proud of what I was able to do there.
Yeah, and obviously for you, came down to a couple of schools. Is that you glad you made that choice?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I said it in the last speech I gave actually at Mercyhurst. I think I said, like, if I could go back and do it again, I would do nothing different. I would not go anywhere else. Mercyhurst was incredible. And yeah, for baseball, had a couple of different options. Not that I was, this 5-star player, but did have a couple options, and certainly happy that I came up to Erie, making it pretty much my second home now. So it's exciting. I loved the 4 years I had on campus, and now I'm just a little bit off campus. But man, I love Erie, so I love being up here.
Yeah, Erie's a pretty sweet spot. Obviously, it's the perfect size city. I tell this to all the players when we do the show. You can get wherever you need to go in 10, 15 minutes. There's enough to do. Obviously, the Otters are such a fabric of the community, and that was always my activity growing up, was going to the Otters games. But there's just so much to do here, and obviously it's beautiful in the summertime. It doesn't get any better than an Erie summer. I know we're transitioning to fall here, and when this is airing, so it isn't a bad place to be in the fall, but man, summertime in Erie.
Yeah, this is my first summer up here. It's awesome. It's gorgeous. Like, every day is 80 some degrees. It's not like crazy hot where I'm dripping sweat walking around, but really, really nice days just to be able to hang outside. Grade 8 Tuesdays or 8 grade Tuesday. Not great. Oh boy, here we go. Oh boy, I'm gonna get canceled.
Who's the Erie Erie native in here and who's not?
Jeez, 8 great Tuesdays was really fun. I was only able to go to a couple of them, so it was more like 3 pretty good Tuesdays, but they were still good. So like gorgeous venue down there, of course. So there was a lot of cool things to be doing. You know, going out to the beach, Sarah's was incredible. The pier, and just kind of enjoying that first summer. Celebrate Erie was incredible.
Yeah.
Great weekend. So yeah, Erie in the summer is very, very underrated. I'm happy I was able to finally get that after being here for 4 years. But of course, for college, you're only here fall to spring, and so I never was able to get that June, July feel through Erie, and I was happy to be able to do it.
I know you and I, when we were going out to the beach to film the video with me in the cooler with Glenn, who is our office intern all summer long. Yes, big shout out to Glenn. You were like, man, I've never really even been on the west side of Erie. We were driving through, and you're like, how do I even get there? So that was kind of funny for me, you know, directing somebody who's been here obviously a little bit, but staying more toward the east side there around Mercier's going out west.
Yeah, definitely have been like sheltered almost. Like there's so many spots that I just don't know yet. And so, I mean, if people got recommendations, please, you know, shoot me a text, let me know, because I'm still trying to explore. I'm still trying to get out and find new places and new little spots with good food, good wings. Otis 12, unbelievable.
Yeah,
wings.
it's a good spot.
And so heading out in that direction, trying to find the different spots.
Do you have a favorite spot in Erie yet? That's something I ask every player this question, and usually I get one answer. It's Lori's Wild Ridge, which is where all the guys go for breakfast. That's a game day tradition that's been passed down through the years with the Erie Otters. That's always a favorite of the guys. Is there one for Tim Quinn that he really enjoys in Erie, PA?
Man, that's a good question. I you know, being a Mercier's guy, I love the Cornerstone.
That's a classic.
Right by campus.
Great
easy
food.
Walk, great food, ice cold drinks. And then that's a good question. I've only been to Voodoo a couple times.
That's a cool spot, though. Did the draft
Voodoo.
party there?
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
you were out in LA for that, but you know that was just a terrific event, and that's such a cool spot, like right in the heart of downtown on a summer night when they got the garage doors open. I mean, it doesn't get any better.
Great food there too. I had pizza there, awesome. Another good pizza, Perry's Pizza. Shout out, Mark.
Yes,
really good there. So there's a couple really, really nice spots, but Voodoo in the fall too. They got the football games up on the TV. It's tough to beat in there. I like the open kind of feel.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That's a really good spot. There's not many bad spots. Like everywhere I go, it's just kind of enjoyable. You know, like even the more the dive spots like Chippers.
Oh, it's a classic, right by my house.
The White Buffalo, which I notoriously call the Blue Buffalo every single time, but then you know that's I think the dog food. So, but the White Buffalo, there's a bunch of different spots that are like really, really.
Erie
good.
is an underrated food city.
It is.
I'll put that. I mean, for me though, we all know that Trev doesn't have a very big palate when it comes to that side of things, but Erie is, I would say, a pretty underrated food city. And this is coming from somebody, I mean, I travel a lot.
Yeah.
So not only with the team, but all summer long. I mean, you can't go wrong with many places.
No, you can't. And just so everybody knows, Trevor does not eat on a game day.
No.
He doesn't.
Superstition.
Breakfast or nothing.
Nothing.
Right?
Nothing until after the game.
And we play at 7 o'clock. And we finish up probably around 10:30. So
that's why I love a day game. I'm a big
no
day.
kidding.
The school day game, doesn't get any better.
Yeah,
I'm always a fan.
Hits, man, and you're starving.
Yeah. Usually, so for me on a game day, typically it's like about 5 o'clock when I would normally eat dinner. I'm like, oh man, and then that's usually media room time. That's when on the road you're hanging out down with the coaches, or at home you're chilling down there, and that's typically that time. But no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah,
so I always just power through, and then once the game starts and once you get into the game and the rhythm of the game, you're so locked in on the game itself, and I think that's one thing that always carries me through. But yeah, after the game, there's plenty of great spots, and luckily here in Erie, there's plenty of spots that are open late enough too that you can go grab a bite to eat after a game ends, and we're out of the rink, 10:30, 11 o'clock.
That was always my thing when I am at home down in Pittsburgh. There's like, and I'm kind of like 25 minutes outside the city. There's not many places open past like 9 o'clock.
Even downtown, like
tough,
when I'm down there for a Pirate game, it can be tough sometimes. I'm a big Cafe Milano guy though. It's right by the ballpark. Sure. Unreal pizza downtown Pittsburgh.
Pizza, Pittsburgh's got a lot of good pizza.
There's so many good pizza spots in Pittsburgh.
Pizza spots down in Pittsburgh, but yeah, no, that's a good point though. What you said, like when you get into the game, you're into the game. You're not really
exactly
thinking about anything else.
100%.
And especially you this year, going to be different, man. We talk about the promotion for Trevor Cabella. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, the new voice of the Erie Otters sitting right here. Trev, congratulations, man.
Thanks,
that's
man.
Incredible.
It's
incredible.
It's such a dream. I mean, obviously growing up here and everything and going to the games and being such a big Otters fan, I mean, it really does mean a lot. And again, Sean, who gave me this platform to kind of said, a couple of years ago, hey, we're going to do an Otters podcast. This is your show. I want you to do with it what you want to do with it. And now I'm really excited to be able to partner with Isaac Petcash and everybody at Gem City and grow the brand and grow this show and alongside yourself and grow what we can do with the broadcast is going to be a joy. And obviously, we've got one under our belt by the time you're seeing this show. But it's going to be a really, really fun time. Obviously, I had a great opportunity to do a bunch of games on the road solo last year. I think it was about half the road games by myself last year. But now to have the full video broadcast, still, as I'm telling you this now, a lot to learn for yours truly, but really, really excited. And excited to grow what we can do with Tim and utilizing Tim in a very similar role to what you saw him with last year if you were a frequent follower of the Otters Broadcast Network, and also using him in a color commentary role while also providing the social content. And before we even get into that, talk to me about how you even got to be with the Otters, because this is an interesting story, I think, because I feel like I played a little bit of a hand in getting Tim Quinn here, but I also feel like I fumbled completely, and then Sean had to come pick it up and follow with me here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a little bit of a messy timeline because it was my junior year of college. So I didn't start interning until December of my senior year. My junior year is when we originally were talking about getting me in for the full year internship. And it just kind of all fell apart. Mercyhurst was going Division I. I was kind of the guy there that was doing most of the games. I was calling hockey and basketball, football, soccer, lacrosse, everything. So my schedule was super jammed, and I just was like, man, I don't see a way that we can make this happen. I don't see a way that I can also get down to Erie or get down to the Otters and also provide that kind of the quality I was looking for, right? I take a lot of pride in being able to really go at it whenever I'm on the broadcast and really dive into it. And I just didn't feel like it would be able to really come together. So we kind of put it on hold, put it on the back burners for a while. The original way you guys even heard of me was our good friend Robbie Selesky was able to show you guys what I was doing on social media with my different videos and stuff that I had been posting. And from what he said, you guys were just like, yeah, we need to get him in here. Which is, a very nice thing to hear for somebody who was just looking for any kind of opportunity. And so you guys were able to see that. Give me a call, start to get me in there. I did come in for the last regular season game of the season.
Yeah.
It was the fan appreciation night? Or
was
it the Biller?
It was fan appreciation night.
Fan appreciation
Otters
night.
and Kitchener Rangers.
Yep.
Martin Mishiak overtime winner, and everybody did the little dive on the ice.
Dive, man.
And that turned into the intro video last year.
Yep.
With Peter Rashinsky cooking that one up in the lab.
Yep. So I did kind of shadow through that night. I was holding a camera down on the ice for the OA appreciation, I think it was, that you guys had done. I was I didn't really know anybody yet, but I was holding the camera down on the ice, just kind of being around it a little bit. But then things kind of fell through. I did come to a playoff game against Kitchener. And just had a blast, man. I mean, there's not a bad seat in the arena, and the production of it was remarkable in house. Stars in my eyes. I was starstruck with it all, and it was just like, man, I need to find a way to get back in here. And it wasn't until December of that next year that I kind of was like, man, hey, the Mercyhurst schedule's starting to get a little slower because of the jump to Division I. You don't have as many home games, and so that's where originally I was like, I kind of have some nights off here. But it's mid-season for the Otters. I wonder what that's gonna. I wonder if they're able to bring me in yet. So I think it was Sean. I gave him a call. Was giving you some calls, just talking about how it could look, how we could possibly bring me in and do it. And what an unbelievable first night it was. Even, of course, coming in on December 14th for Winter Wonderland night. It was the night after Jim Waters had passed, and again, I wasn't on the inside of that. I wasn't in the know for a lot of this stuff, and so I'd seen it in the morning. But I came in there and I was like, I didn't know Jim. I didn't get the chance to meet him, which is probably one of my biggest regrets now being in this job. Is, man, everybody else has such incredible stories about Jim. Even from night one, I was able to tell like I missed out on an incredible person. But that was my first game in there, and from there it was just the next opportunity. What can I do to be better? What can I do to get more? The second game was the Connor McDavid jersey retirement night for me, and for the second day of your internship, my God.
Walk me through that night for you. It was obviously for us, right? From a full-time staff perspective, Sean and I actually, and I don't want to like toot horns or anything here, but Sean and I, a lot of the stuff that went on that night came out of a meeting that Sean and I had kind of talked through what goes into a jersey retirement, and to see that all, executed the way it was incredible. But for you, walk me through that night from your perspective, because for somebody coming in, your second game with us in an organization, you'd obviously seen what a game night looks like from shadowing and obviously in a wild circumstance on Winter Wonderland night. Talk me through what was probably the biggest home game the Erie Otters have ever had.
Yeah, I mean, it's still probably the biggest game I've ever been a part of in terms of just the sheer scale of it all. Looking around and just being like, wow, there's not an empty spot standing seated to watch this game. And it was loud and it was rocking, but the whole day was just incredible. I mean, I couldn't really sleep the night before. I had come up to do some games over the break with Mercyhurst, and stayed up there to do this game, and I was so excited because, of course, everybody in the world knows who Connor McDavid is, and just realize it kind of set in for me that, like, man, this guy played in Erie. It's pretty special, and for him to be able to come back mid-season, in between a road trip, I think it was between Pittsburgh and Chicago.
Yep.
Like
one day in between.
Yeah, one day to be able to come up there and do all of it. It was incredible to kind of know that it was happening. But yeah, I mean, I was able to sit in on his media availability, his interviews up top, and see him from a couple feet away. Unbelievable. And just be able to see how he was able to work the room and talk to everybody, make everybody feel seen and appreciate them for being there, and talk about how really nothing's changed with his perspective of Erie, right, and how gorgeous it was and how cool it was to be back in the building and the crowd and everything, and that was really I had a great introduction to the fans on December 14th. I got to see the support, the love for Jim, and what a game it was. They lit up the scoreboard against Saginaw, I think it was.
It was back-to-back games against Saginaw for you.
Yep, and then they played them again. And so I got to see, the outcome of the game wasn't what we wanted it to be, but for me, it was everything I wanted the day to be. I got to meet Connor. I got to talk to him. He signed my jersey. I got to wear a signed Connor McDavid jersey live on the broadcast. One of my professors at Mercyhurst, Matthew Stowey, was behind me in the towards the tunnel, and so he shot me a text and was just like, sick jersey, dude. And I got to turn around and be like, dude, how cool is that? Like, I got to geek out a little and be like, dude, how sick is this? He just signed this while I'm wearing it on my back. So just really a special night. That, there's what makes me love sports so much is moments. I think that's really what makes sports special, are the great moments that there are. And for me, that whole night is a moment that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. And just hearing how loud the ovation was for Connor and seeing the true love he had of Erie was really, really special. And it skyrocketed my love for the Otters organization, seeing how they were able to handle everything for the fans in Erie, seeing the passion of how much they loved one of their guys. So really, really a special night. And for the second night of an internship, it could not have been better.
Tell me the story of getting the jersey signed, because that's a fun one.
Yeah, down in the tunnel, and just kind of sitting around. Like, I wasn't really supposed to be And I'm the second day intern. You could have told me to go sit in the stands and watch the game.
Well, you wouldn't have had a seat.
Well, yeah, true. Wouldn't have had anywhere to watch it, but yeah, I got to go in the locker room with him and record from my phone. It was probably the 150th camera in that room, watching Connor give his speech to the boys, read out the starting lineup, and then kind of wait around in the tunnel because Sean was out there doing his introduction and everything. It was a bit of a long press conference out there almost, but of course you need to celebrate Connor
100%.
McDavid. So it was very warranted. But so I'm just kind of sitting down there in the tunnel, and I'm right across from Connor McDavid, basically. He's a couple feet away from me on the other side of the wall, and I was just like, man, like he's going over his script. He's like, he's nervous. And his wife stepped away for a minute. I was like, this is kind of the chance right here, right? Like this to me is just like going up and meeting somebody new at wherever you're at a restaurant, at a bar, or whatever. Just go up and start talking to you. What's the worst they can do? Ignore you, walk away, tell you to leave. Which could have happened. You know, I could have had a security guard step in and be like, "Hey, man, get away from him."
Who's this guy?
Yeah, who's this guy? You know, nobody knows who this cat is. But got to go over and talk to him and just talk really briefly about his speech and just being like, "Dude, just wait for the ovation. Just wait. You'll know you're home when you hear this crowd." And so he goes out, does his thing, comes back, signs the jersey, and have a little moment, and then he goes up and sits in the suite and everything. But just to have like a little moment, right, with one of the greatest hockey players, potentially at the end of it of all time,
100%,
at the end of his career of all time, right, and surely one of the most talented guys in the league. And just high class from him. It was really special because it's not something you expect. And really that's what surprised me about the entire organization coming in is just the class, right? It come from a spot almost where you don't expect it. I don't expect anything when I roll in there. I don't expect the guys to treat me with, not that I don't expect them to treat me with respect, but like I don't expect them to go above and beyond with the respect that I get. They all take all the guys the first time I interview them, take their gloves off, shake my hand, ask me my name, how I'm doing, and everything. And to see it from Connor too, it just shows it's all top down. And you know it's within the organization as well. It starts with now Dave Brown as our general manager. Again, really high class guy. Takes time out of his day to be in the moment with you. And it just trickles down to everybody throughout the organization. So that's what makes it so special for me now to be a part of it all. It's because it's just, man, I couldn't ask to be with a better group of people.
Yeah, 100%. And I would certainly echo those sentiments about everybody. And I think, you know, going back to Jim, I think it all started with Jim and just, you know, his personality and just the way that he treats people and the way he did treat people. It all kind of rubbed off on everybody. And, you know, a guy like a Matthew Schaefer and just the way that he just treats everybody and still does to this day. You know, it's really a big part of being an Erie Otter is the respect thing and the way you treat people. When it's, you know, you'll see it on the road, you know, the way you treat somebody when you go out to a restaurant for these guys and everything. You know, there's something that goes into that. And obviously, you know, that's a big part of this organization. And, you know, for you to see that firsthand and for Connor McDavid, I mean, I think the thing that struck me the most was I don't think he knows he's Connor McDavid.
Right.
Like,
No, he definitely doesn't.
Like, I don't think he is so humble and so down to earth and just such a good, like, chill guy. Like, one of the most chill human beings, like, I've met. And, you know, to, you know, see what he is, obviously, is one of the best players in the NHL right now. And for my money, the best player in the NHL. And like you said, could go down as one of the best of all time. It really, you know, I think that really struck me on that night.
Yeah, it definitely did. He was awesome. Give me a Jim story, man. I love hearing him.
Oh, there's so many.
It was something. My first interview was Panophemus, and that was between the benches, and I got to ask him about Jim, and he gave a very emotional, very, very great answer. And that's, you know, to this day, one of my favorite interviews that I've really ever done. And Pano's such an incredible guy, and you got to see it. I got to see it on his face, and something that you can't really see on the broadcast because we were kind of tucked away in between the benches, and he had his helmet on and not facing the camera. So it was just kind of that moment that I got to see it. I got to see the impact that this man had on the organization and had on so many people. And I love hearing stories of Jim. Give me something.
Yeah, so I'll tell you the story of how I really got to meet Jim. And this was my very first year as an intern, and Jim was always around. And if you knew Jim, you knew that he was about as casual as it gets. He'd always have like a vest on or an Otters hoodie and jeans, always, and usually an Otters hat. And him and I had the same Otters hat on. I was walking in the rink, and he's like, "Hey, nice hat." And I'm like, I'm starstruck because for me, I'm like, this is the guy who saved the Erie Otters, right? Obviously, everybody knows the turmoil that was kind of surrounding the organization before Jim bought the team, and somebody that I really held a lot of gratitude toward because of the fact that he was the guy who bought the team and he saved the Erie Otters. And I had heard just how friendly he was, and to actually see that firsthand, for him to treat me, hey, nice hat, and what's your name? I'm Jim. Like, shake my hand. For that to the owner of the team do that to an intern who's this was before one of my very first games as an intern, so this was very, very early on in my career as the Otter with the Otters, I should say. And for him to take that little bit of time, that really meant a lot. And him and I had an awesome relationship. The broadcast connection that him and I shared, and everything that went alongside that. He was an unbelievable guest on the show. The listening back to what he had to say there, and telling the story of getting the team was just exceptional. And Jim was a guy that I really held a lot of respect and quite frankly a lot of love for just what he was able to bring to my career. And I'm eternally grateful for the opportunities that he's given me in my broadcast career. And I always like to think that maybe he saw a little something in me, and that's why they keep me around here. So Jim is and was somebody that really, really means a lot to me and to my career, and for many reasons, not just my broadcast career, but also keeping the Erie Otters in town and keeping something to do. So yeah, that story with the hat really always sticks out to me. And later on that season, he ordered hats for the team, and for the office, for the team had their number on the back, for the office the initials, and he got me one. I was the only intern that got one. So that hat really still means a lot to me. I still have that one in my massive collection. So yeah, really, really cool stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, truly just hearing all the different stories from people about whether it was when they met him, when they're working alongside him, whether it's at a game or he's just taking a moment out of his day to be with you. Like, God, I really wish I would have had a chance to meet him. He seems like he was just a special human.
I'll never forget the last time I saw him. We were in Brampton. It was, in fact, Matthew Schaefer's last game as an Erie Otter, at least until hopefully, maybe, we don't know, maybe a little bit in the future. But he had that unbelievable goal that I think won our play of the year on socials. It was the most exceptional play that I think I've seen probably since McDavid had been in Erie. And for me to get to call that was awesome. Well, the Otters won that game in overtime. It was that goal, I think, might have tied the game, might have given us the lead at one point. It was kind of, I think it was in the third period, but it wasn't, the goal the game-winning goal or anything. Malcolm Spence scored the winner in overtime, and just to see the joy on Jim's face after that game, after that win, because it was the last game of a road trip. It was obviously an easy game. Jim lived in Toronto. For him to get to Brampton and just seeing the joy and getting to see him, and I never knew that would be the last time that I could see him. I wish I could have said thank you. Looking back on that, but that was just that day for me. I mean, obviously that moment and that call just went crazy on social. I think the NHL picked it up and the OHL used my audio for that, which again they didn't have to do, but they did, and obviously that really means a lot to me. And that moment was really special, and for that to that whole day was just, again, looking back, just such a wild one.
Yeah, God, man, that's awesome. So let's transition. Let's go to the home opener, man.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
By the time this airs, it will be after the home opener, but not to break kayfabe, we are filming this before the home opener, and so let's talk a little expectations. That way, by the time you guys are listening to this, you can compare it to your experiences at FanFest, at the home opener. Trev, what are you most excited for? Your first home opener as the guy, as the voice of the Erie Otters.
Well, what I'm firstly expecting, and you should be as well with your first home opener, is chaos, man.
Yeah.
There is no more chaotic day, and this is true in all sports. I think your first home game, no matter what, at the OHL level, at the NAL level, at the USHL level, at the NHL level, any level of hockey, any level of sports, it's going to be wild because there's so many kinks to iron out. And I think especially for us and not having any home preseason games this year, and I think that's one thing that certainly can be a little interesting, is not having that, right? And not having a chance to iron out some of the kinks. And we rely on a terrific group of interns. We've got one behind the camera right now, making this all run, and they just do an exceptional job and help our show run. So for them, getting them oriented to what a game night looks like and having the first game night be the craziest, I think is a positive, because then, all right, we get the wild one. Last year, I think, was an exception because of McDavid night and what that all brought. But, I think getting the home opener out of the way first, and okay, you get through that one, then it starts to kind of get a little easier.
Yeah,
what are you looking forward to in the home opener?
Oh, man, so much. So, the red carpet, I think, is going to be something that is pretty exciting. Like, being able to get out there and show off the fits that everybody puts together. I still got to plan exactly what I'm going to be wearing.
I already know what I'm wearing.
Are you?
I'm already pretty long.
I think I know, which is going to be exciting. But I'm excited to kind of see how the red carpet all works, because going to you touched on earlier, going to LA for the NHL draft this year, I got to see their red carpet, their version of rolling everybody out there in front of the fans and doing a live show from there. And we're planning something very similar, where we're going to kind of be live during the red carpet and get everybody out there. It's all about fan interaction. That's the biggest thing I want to bring this year and really be a part of, is the fan interaction. I want everybody to have some high level access to these players. I want the players to be able to make sure they have the time of day and take from the top down, like we've already talked about, right? Take from the leaders like you have with Matthew Schaefer, and setting such a great example. He has time for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. He will make the time for you and be present in the moment with you. So making sure our players kind of give everybody time to be around them is super exciting, and making sure that I can as well be accessible to all these people who live and breathe Otters hockey during the fall, during the winter, and into the spring. Like, that's what I'm really excited for, is just to see the love and support for the organization, because not that we've almost lost anything like that over the summer, but you don't feel it as much in person, right? Because we're so used to that game day environment where we're there. You see 4,000 to 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people pack into the arena. And obviously it's been dormant over the summer. We don't get to see the people in the rink anymore. And so I think just seeing them all come out, seeing them all be loud and cheer and enjoy themselves outside on hopefully a really nice day. We're crossing our fingers that the weather will hold and be really great. And, of course, getting back in the rink and doing our thing. I think it's going to be just like how McDavid was for me, how McDavid night was for me, where it's that moment lives in my head. I think that whole night, and I'm really hoping that if everything goes well, I'm hoping that whole moment will live forever in my head as the first home opener. And I want everybody to walk away from it and be like, man, when can we go back to an Otters game? Like, I just want that fan side of it to be so enjoyable. I want everybody that goes in there to have a great time and really enjoy this more than any other fan fest we've had in the past.
Great opponent too, Kitchener Rangers
Yes.
in town. So the Erie and Kitchener, I really like. It's like almost a little friendly rivalry at the playoff matchup over the last couple of years. Great to see our friend Mike Farwell, Paul Fixter in the booth as well. So that'll be a lot of fun. But you mentioned it there in the last answer. Talk to me about the NHL draft. You had the chance to go out to LA. That was quite the wild week for all of us, because I was traveling around, you were traveling around. We connected in Orangeville for league meetings in June, and then from there I went off to Florida. You went back home, you worked for a little while, and then you fly out to LA. Walk me through that experience, the NHL draft, getting to cover that first person and provide kind of back to Erie, Pennsylvania, what was going on out in Los Angeles.
So the way it all started, so I started this job beginning of May. The first pitch that I had made for day one of my new job was to send me to LA for the NHL draft. And I really wanted it to work. I pitched it the first week, and it was like, oh, it sounds pretty good. Let's look into it. Let's see how we want it to look. Let's see logistically how it can work, and it might happen. And so I immediately was like, oh my God, I'm gonna go to LA. I'm gonna go to the draft. This is gonna be incredible. I can do this. 100 different things popped into my head. And then it was like, all right, now we're waiting. Now it's the waiting game until the end of June. And I finally get to fly out there, my first time in LA. And I really enjoyed it, getting out there, nice hotel, being able to walk over and be a part of some of the early media, meet up with some of the OHL guys that were out there, OHL, CHL teams that were out there representing different guys. I got to walk around the Peacock Theater where the draft was. I got to walk around the Crypto.com Arena, which is where the Kings and the Lakers play, and just feel that kind of LA vibe. And I was walking everywhere because it was only about 15 minutes away. And trust me, you don't want to Uber because it takes way longer and it's more expensive. So we were walking around, and I'm just like, man, this is special. This is really special. Not only did I have an internship in the second night, I get to work a Connor McDavid jersey retirement. In the second month of my new job, I'm in LA covering the NHL draft for the #1 overall pick. And so super, super special. Get out there the day of the draft. And I didn't even know what they were going to be having out there. But NHL Street was there. Great organization trying to push youth hockey out in the street. And they had a couple of little arenas set up, little rinks set up to play some street hockey. They had NHL-themed jerseys that they were giving away. And one of the guys from NHL Street gave me an Islanders jersey, which was super special. And in me wearing the Erie Otters stuff, a lot of the Islanders fans came up to me and said, hey, talked about Matthew, shared a story about how they've been watching him for a while and how they're so excited to get him and how everybody is so hopeful that they make the right decision and go with Matthew. And I was too. I was very, very excited for it all. But, you get into the theater, man, what an experience it was. The NHL were great hosts. Everybody I met I was very lucky to meet and lucky to have conversations with. I got to see all the different broadcasts going on. And then get some really, really amazing angles of Matthew Schaefer getting picked #1 overall. And there wasn't, to be honest with you, there was not a dry eye in the building. It was an emotional moment. From the minute his name was called, there were tears. About everybody in that room popped. Everybody stood up to their feet and applauded, whether you're an Islanders fan, a Sharks fan, a Penguins fan, a Blackhawks fan. It doesn't matter. You're on your feet applauding this young man, 17 years old, who has battled through so much in his life and over the last couple of years to earn this moment in which his name gets called 1-1, and he walks up on stage, and just a classy move from the Islanders, who have sewn in the ribbon on the jersey, who have sewn in his mom's initials into the back of the jersey, and he was able to recognize it right away. He gave the ribbon a kiss, pointed up to the sky, and from there it was the waterworks, man, and it wasn't just him. I was holding the camera, and I was really trying to keep it together, and it was tough. So and again, you talk about the moments in sports. It wasn't on the ice, wasn't anywhere on the field. Just special person, and he absolutely deserved every second of it. And for me, I was just very happy, very lucky, very blessed to be a part of it, and to feel the emotion in the building was incredible. It was one of the best nights of my career, one of the best nights of my life. Something I absolutely cherish through to this day and for the rest of my life. It was awesome.
It's one of those things that, you look at Chafe and you look at, that night, that's what we do it for in this league, right? That's what the Ontario Hockey League in Major Junior Hockey is all about, is nights like that, moments like that.
Yeah, that's what I really do love about the role that I have now and the role that we have in the position we have as broadcasters, to tell the story of these guys and to really show you that they're not just hockey players. They're not just a number on the back of their jersey. To showcase their stories, their personalities, what they've gone through, so that way they can be an inspiration not only to themselves, to their families, to the teammates that they have, but to everybody in the community. And that's really what Matthew was. That's really what he is still. He will be remembered in Erie for a long, long time, remembered fondly, and everybody will be awaiting the return, whether it be this year, whether it be in 10 years down the line. Everybody will be anticipating it just because of all of the great work that Matthew has done and turned tragedy into so much love in this community. It's been nothing short of special, and he's an inspiration. He's 5 years younger than me, and I'm inspired so much by what Matthew Schaefer has been able to do. And I talked a little bit earlier about the fan interaction side of it. He is the king of it all. And Erie loves him. New York's going to love him. Wherever he finds himself, people will gravitate to him. He is a natural-born leader. He absolutely deserves what he's gotten here in these last couple of months, and really can wish him absolutely nothing but the best.
Yeah, and Ken Paroff, Honors assistant coach, who's obviously, I think, worked more one-on-one with Matthew Schaefer than anybody has in over the last couple of years. And, he mentioned to me on the road one day, he's like, look, Schaef's going to be a captain in the NHL in 5 to 10 years, and it's not even a doubt. And, having just seen even, I think, how he's handled just some of the adversity he went through last year with the illness at the beginning of the year and then obviously the injury at the World Juniors. I think that, that's obviously told the story of the kind of leader he is, and him being back around in the playoff run last year was really, really special. And I think that's, a guy who is going to be maybe the next Cale Makar. But even if he's not the next Cale Makar on the ice, he's going to be one heck of a leader, going to have one heck of an NHL career. And, again, I think that just stems back to the person he is. And obviously that's something that you got to see firsthand in covering the draft, firsthand covering the team last year. And which I think is hilarious, though, is Tim Quinn has seen Matthew Schaefer play one OHL game.
Once. And that's it. I wasn't even working
that
game.
That was his shadow game against Kitchener.
Yeah, unbelievable. But he's one of those guys, you don't have to see him on the ice.
You just know.
You just know. You just know from the moment you meet him that this guy is special, and he's going to be somebody. And, it couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Well, let's talk socials a little bit. That's the other side. We've talked a lot broadcasting. When did you get into social media? Talk to me about kind of how the love for that side of things sparked for you.
Yeah, so it's kind of similar to how I kind of got the internship, right? It was pretty much, I think it was sophomore, junior year is when I was like, I want to start posting some of the stuff I'm doing on socials because I'm in front of a camera all the time, and I posted a lot of social media content in high school. From a different account that I won't reveal now because I don't want anybody to find it. But if you do, good Lord,
certain people, and we all know who they are. Somebody's going to find this, and it will pop up in a group chat one day.
So I made a lot of it in high school, kind of went away from it. And then that sophomore year is when I was like, to be honest, I was a little bit mentally afraid of starting because I know I did a lot of it. I'm walking around campus in a suit, in a pink suit, and all this different stuff. But I was like, man, I don't know if I should. What if people hate it? What if I post out and I'm thinking that I'm actually better than I am, and I'm posting and people are like, this sucks, man. Like, why are you posting this? Or it doesn't go over well. And it took time. I posted the first one of me doing public address at a hockey game, and was able to get some love from that, and it was exciting. I think my grandma, my nana, was super excited to see it, and she'd be like, "Oh my God, honey, you're so good! Like, what an amazing job you're doing! It's so keep doing it." And so that's where I originally gained that support from, was my family, and it just kind of grew from there. It's just consistency, right? Just kind of getting over that mental block of being like, I'm too nervous to post about it. Like, I kind of was able to push through that to the point where I'm posting all the time about all the different games I'm doing. I'm starting to give people updates on when I'm doing different games and where you can find it. I started traveling with teams. And so the socials kind of just naturally grew over time from just, little selfie videos of me doing public address to then selfie videos of me doing play-by-play, and then all of a sudden now I'm live streaming myself doing play-by-play on my personal Instagram, so people can keep up with a game, whether I'm home or on the road, and just getting those extra clips out and posting some of these highlight plays with my calls on them, which was a lot of fun, and putting my reactions on some of them. There's a great video of a shootout winner at RIT this year that I was able to put my reaction on, and that was one of the most special moments and special plays that I was able to call. And so just kind of growing it like that, and then being like, hey, I can probably take this to the next level. I can start doing some content where, I feel like I have really good connections with some of these athletes at Mercyhurst. And so let me go try wrestling. Let me go try lacrosse. Let's go try football and soccer and hockey. Let me get out on the ice and skate around and shoot the puck and let's do a shootout. And just trying out these different little video ideas. And to me, I'm taking inspiration from Pat McAfee and Dude Perfect videos and all these different things that I can kind of morph into something that becomes my own. And so that's what I was kind of able to do on socials, was have no script, just go at it however we wanted to. And then I had a good team around me. Luke Menendo, my roommate, Robbie Selesky, Jake Mummert, just kind of some really good guys to kind of help me through the process, to take pictures, to take the video, to support me in that realm, and just kind of continue to grow. And that's just what I've loved about it. I've always kind of loved the analytics side, looking at what's working, what's not, why is it working, what time of day is the best time. I've always kind of had a love for that. But now it kind of grows into, okay, let's try to make some top quality content that not only we enjoy making, and it's a fun shoot, but that people are going to enjoy watching, that the fans want to see. That's something that's going to show off these personalities and who these guys are. So that's kind of where it all comes from. I just like to go out there and have fun. My ego says I can do a lot of different sports and I can do them well. And then you see these videos and good Lord, I cannot. I can't play lacrosse well. Lacrosse is incredibly difficult. I can't keep up with anybody on wheels, on the skates. I can't. I'm a really bad skater. I've always been a bad skater, but I'm going to go out there and try, and it's going to be funny, and it's going to be a good time. And then, you get a video like we did in the spring where right before playoffs what happened in that one? Oh, yeah. I beat Kerry Terrance in the face-off circles, and I'll never let him forget it.
That was a classic video. I remember when you'd reach out and say, hey, we want to do something like this, and I'm like, let's do it. Sean and I had done kind of a similar style, and I thought you guys, I was like, okay, like we've done it before, but I really liked how you guys kind of came in, you put your own little spin on it, and I thought it really ended up being pretty darn cool. And obviously, you beating Kerry in the face-off circle was kind of the icing on the cake of it all, and that was one of the first ones that aired, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was I think the first or second one to go, and man, just the response from it was great, and I thought it looked really awesome. And one of the things I really strive for when I'm shooting a video like that is just making people comfortable. I want the guys out there and whoever I'm filming with, I want them to be loose. I want them to be themselves. I don't want them to see the camera and freeze up or anything like that, like people do sometimes when you get a camera in front of them. Just want them to have fun with it. And so taking it to their sport, feeling it where they're comfortable out on the ice or on the soccer field or on the football field or whatever you're going to do, just making them comfortable and make the video almost secondary to where you're just watching us kind of go out there and mess around. And that's when you get those great natural reactions like I had with Kerry. I got, I pitched it to Kerry as like, hey, you're going to teach me how to do face-offs. And then it quickly went to, let's just have fun. Let's just have some fun. Let's go in there and let's just have face-offs against each other. That's what I really like to see. That's what I really like to do, and just be a little bit competitive in those videos as well, but also have a lot of fun with it. And then now, getting the chance to go full-time at socials has been so rewarding, and being able to go at the content, and that's all I really wanted these last couple years, was just the opportunity to do this on a full-time basis. And now that I have it, I couldn't be with a better group. I couldn't be with a more creative and supportive group. Working with Peter, who you mentioned earlier, has been a blast. He is so talented with the camera, and I'm really excited to see what we can do throughout the season, but also then just interacting with the fans on the different social medias, working on Facebook, and just throwing out like, hey, what's your favorite Otters moment from the past? What's your favorite jersey? If you could put a logo at center ice, what would you put? Like figuring out the different things, and of course claiming the title of the Erie's favorite mascot was a lot of fun, and different things like that.
Well, Otto's been a big time feature in a lot of the content that you've been producing over the last couple of months. Talk to me about the shift in content from the Otters side of things. What has gone into some of these videos, and what's been your favorite one that you and I have worked on, you and Peter have worked on?
Oh, that's a good question. Man, so the shift is, for me, going into the offseason, taking it up when all the players are gone. The players are our product per se, right? That's who we are banking it off of. The Erie Otters are the guys on the ice, right? But without them, who can we lean on for content? I definitely don't want to go into that 1 month, 2 month phase of just really not posting at all. And for me, if I'm doing this full time, I feel like I'm not working my hardest and giving the best to this community whenever we just don't post anything. And so for me, it was like, all right, what can we lean on? We can lean on Trevor Cabella, who is a known character in this Otters universe, in the Otters cinematic universe, right? He is somebody that the fans know, that the community knows, that just got this huge promotion as the voice of the Erie Otters. We can lean on the other office staff like Mike, right, who everybody knows through ticket sales. If you're going to the rink, you've talked to Mike. If you bought season tickets, you go through Mike. And so everybody knows Mike. So let's give Mike's office tour, because Mike's office, the coolest office you'll ever see in the world. So let's go through his. Everybody knows Darcy, right?
Everybody knows
Darcy has been a mega star on Facebook and on social media. So let's lean into the characters that people know, the characters, right? The characters that people know, and give them a little bit of shine here, because they work just as hard as anybody else, and everybody that wants to be on camera from our office, I've absolutely loved working with, and being able to put them out there and give them that little bit, give them their flowers almost for how hard they work during the year.
Yeah, 100%. And, you mentioned Darcy. I believe her episode of Ott The Record, the original audio-only version that we recorded just down the hallway here, that was one of our better performing episodes. That just shows you how beloved Darcy is by the Otters community. But again, I like the idea of using it as almost a universe and creating the character of admin, creating me as a character who lives in the press box and calls the games when there's nobody in the building, right? Like, I think it's been incredibly fun, and is just really added a little bit of a different element, especially during the off season.
Yeah, it really has. It's been a blast, and it's all about the connections, and especially in Erie, it's a smaller town than where I'm from in Pittsburgh. So, most people will know just about everybody. You kind of get to know people, and especially when you're going to a lot of the Otters games, and you're more of a diehard Otters fans, which we absolutely love all of you. And so you get to know some of the people that you're working with. Darcy is the head of the Otters Den in the store and everything. So you've seen her around, even if you don't know her name, you've seen her, and so giving them their time is really, really important to me, and just showing those connections that people have, I think is crucial to it all, and building those deeper connections with someone like you, who fans will be seeing a lot of, not only this year but in the coming years, because you're the man now that's going to run it all. So just being able to give them a little bit more insight to kind of who you are. Not that you fully live in the press box, but
basically when the season starts,
when the season starts, you kind of live in the press box. So just kind of showing them, the more comical side, I would say, is pretty fun. For the favorite video that we've shot, probably orientation camp in the den.
That was a good one.
We came out with our first in the den. Man, that was special. Pete, unbelievable job editing it. That was a fun one. That comes from sort of a Formula One did Drive to Survive. I'm a big wrestling guy. WWE did Unreal on Netflix, sort of that behind-the-scenes documentary style. And we shot for it. We did a couple of interviews, and Pete, what a job he did editing that together. That's a not just a one-off. That's something we're turning into a series, and trying to really promote the behind-the-scenes stuff. And again, just another avenue to show off who these players are, who this organization is built by. You get Scott Grieve in there, Devin Brown. You get Jake Murray and Tyler Cooper, and you get all these guys that are new faces maybe to everybody else, but really make the wheels turn behind the scenes, and people that we should be excited to watch this year with Murray and Cooper, right? Guys that we're super excited to see on the team this year. So it's just trying to build, like I said, connections, and get to know these guys in a little bit of a different light. So In the Den's probably my favorite one that we've worked on so far, and I really didn't have too much to do with it outside of the planning of it, and I just loved watching Pete be able to go to town on it.
What about the promo schedule video? A lot of moving parts in that one. In terms of the fun content, I thought that's what you were going to go with.
I actually, you know what? That's a good shout. Our promotional video.
Gene Simmons over here.
Yeah. So we had that was a multi-day shoot too. We had multiple different scenes we had to go to. We were in 5-iron. We were down in the locker room. We were up in the rafters. We were in the office. We had different props. We shot off confetti. We got the lightsaber going. And Otto. Caroline was in there. But then also I got to throw on the Gene Simmons makeup, and good Lord, that was a good time. I was impressed with myself and my ability to kind of draw on the Gene Simmons makeup. First time ever doing a full face of makeup like that. And I just watched one video about Gene kind of explaining how he did it, and had the wig from last year. I went as Motley Crue last year, so it may be a theme here with my Halloween costumes, but went as Motley Crue, and so I had the wig already. And so I was like, let's go for the super strong visual of Kiss. Let's go all in. So Halloween's one of my favorite holidays of the year, and I am currently planning out what I want to do for Halloween this year. We have a Halloween game on the 30th. And so, Otters fans, any ideas, throw them at me. Let me know, what should I be for Halloween on camera this year. If you want me to be Gene Simmons.
I was going to say, I think Gene Simmons might have to make a
a
reappearance.
Yeah.
I think that might be the play.
Yeah, I think the funniest thing would be me as Gene Simmons interviewing the opposing team,
which will be
visiting team,
which will be Corey Stillman with the Guelph Storm.
So yeah, interviewing him,
Stanley Cup winner.
Oh my goodness! So then all of a sudden he finds himself getting interviewed by Gene Simmons on the bench in between periods. I think the visual of that would be absolutely hysterical. But I've got some other ones cooking up. So if anybody's got ideas, please let me know. I'm a big outfit guy. I will wear anything on the broadcast. And I, Gene Simmons is obviously one of those things.
I think the best story that came out of all of this is, so the day we did the Gene Simmons bit, we had an office lunch. So we had lunch for the office that day because you scored a couple of goals in beer league.
Yeah.
So Tim, for those of you who don't know, on Wednesday nights, he rips around on the ice playing a little pickup. But Tim scored a goal, so the bet was if Tim scores, then the office gets lunch. If Tim doesn't score, then Tim buys the office lunch. So no matter what happened, the office was the winner in this scenario.
Yeah.
But so Tim comes up, he's downstairs. Nobody really knew, I don't think, what was going on. And in steps, we're all sitting around the table. If you're familiar with kind of what our office looks like, we're all sitting around kind of in that common area, just mowing down on lunch, enjoying our lunch. And in walks Tim Quinn, dressed as Gene Simmons, full makeup on, had the wig going. It was just the most, I obviously had known because I was down kind of helping out a little bit with the shoot, and then once I knew the food got there, I was out of there. So I go upstairs and I'm chilling, and here comes Tim walking in. Just the look on some of our coworkers' faces was priceless.
Oh
in that
my
moment.
God, it was so. And I ate Chick-fil-A just straight up as Gene Simmons. So water-based paint. I had it all over my lips, and it was all over the sandwich. But it's a water-based paint, so it's all right. It didn't do anything crazy to the old digestive system. But yeah, the visual of that was certainly pretty funny. So now we've got some good fits cooking up outside of that, though. We'll see. See what we're working
What's your
with.
favorite fit you've done for a broadcast?
Ooh, so at Mercyhurst, when we would host, and I would host any of these events, I would host, it's called Laker Showdown. It's like the talent show to raise money, and then we would host the Shamrock Awards, which is the end of the year athletic awards. So each time for those, I would try to put together a really good outfit. And so I went this past year with a corduroy white shirt, corduroy brown pants, which I think didn't play as well as I thought it was going to. I would have liked it to be a little bit better. I think I just turned out looking like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. But probably the full pink suit was, oh man, that's up there.
Full pink suit was pretty. I mean, that got Dave Brown's attention.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
So the first time I debuted that, I did full pink suit in a white and pink flowery shirt. And it was the end of the year athletic awards, so it was kind of springtime, and I you know what, I went all in on that, and it was like, let's go full pink, let's go pink and brown shoes and everything, let's go all in, and I really like the way it turned out. Actually, I think it looks like lighthearted and kind of funny, but I think it kind of works for how I work on a camera and how I go about things on a microphone and everything, and especially in that setting, I think it was pretty enjoyable. It's kind of a lighter night, not super serious, so got to enjoy wearing that. That's got to be up there. I love going with the Western fits though. I have a bunch of bolo ties.
And you missed country night last year.
I missed country night, I know, but no, I love going that Western look, the black suit, maybe a light blue shirt with a bolo tie and a hat.
Mixing a little flannel?
Yeah, maybe mixing a flannel. So I don't know. I just like getting creative with it. Like I like putting together crazy different outfits that kind of stand out. I have the normal black suit and a tie and everything, but I think everybody kind of has to have their certain flair to their character. We'll go back to that word, right? I think everybody needs a little bit of flair to it, and with you, it's the bow ties, right? The bow ties is iconic with Trevor Cabella, and so for me, I wanted to
iconic.
And for me, I want to go to go the extra mile with the crazy suits and the different combos and cool colors and just wow people on those big nights. It won't be every night, but maybe, your New Year's Eve game and things like that will go with something that really pops and is like, whoa, did you see that? Even if it's like a cheap suit that I'll wear for one night, it's still really, really exciting. So I always love throwing together some kind of crazy style fit to try to make it all work.
Well, as we kind of wrap things up here, talk to me about what's cooking up. What can we look forward to as we finally start to kick this season off?
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously we got the home opener coming up. This will air after it, so I hope you guys all enjoyed your home opener experience and hope you all enjoyed Fan Fest. And,
Hopefully an Otters win.
Hopefully an Otters
Most
win. Go
importantly,
Otters. Go
at the end of the
Otters.
day, all this stuff only well, it doesn't only matter if you get the 2 points. But for me as an Otters fan, if the Otters get the 2 points, that's what all matters.
Yeah, that's a big one. I'd love a good Otters win, but we hope you all had a great time at Fan Fest. Man, it's just going to be fun. It's going to be something different, right? Like, for those of you who watched the broadcast last year, I was not up in the broadcast booth. I was down between the benches. The plan as of earlier in the year and not after home opener and when you guys are watching this, the plan right now is for me not to join Trevor up in the booth as the full-time color commentator. It is to be back between the benches. And so we are trying to logistically make that happen right now, but I think the style, the look, the way we play off each other from across the rink and the different perspective that we're able to bring while I'm between the benches, while you're in the broadcast booth, I think it's super unique, and that's really what I want to do. The biggest thing for me is I want to do things that people haven't done already. I want to do things that haven't been done before, and I want to do them really well. And I think this is one of those things that we can really do well, and I'm super, super excited to see how it'll play out. But like we've already mentioned, right, everything for me is about the fan experience. It's all about the fan interaction, and if you guys are all having a good time when you come to the game, then we've done our job, then I've done my job. So, we hope you enjoy the season. And disregard everything that happens on the ice, whether we get those 2 points or not. We want you to come to an Otters game and have an absolute blast and be able to show up the next time and be like, man, I'm so excited to go to the Otters game tonight. So that's the feeling we want you guys to have when you leave the arena.
Tim Quinn, it's been an absolute blast, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Trev.
All right, well, that will do it for another edition of Ott The Record. Thanks again for joining us in this new format. Hopefully everybody enjoys kind of the new look of the show and everything. And again, a big thanks to our friends partnering with the Gem City Sports Podcast Network presented by Rebich Investments. We'll talk to you again very soon. My name is Trevor Cabea for our good friend Tim Quinn. We'll see you again on another edition of Ott The Record.